Okay. Firstly, I'd like to ask Dr. Fidas to give us a welcome speech in order to introduce to the first LTTA event of CRIMS project. Christos.
Thank you very much, dear Professor Koukopoulos. I would like to welcome all of you, the physical participants and the virtual participants, for offering your time and participating in the CRIMS learning, teaching, and training activity. I would like also to welcome you in name of Professor Aouris, who is the director of this laboratory, and I'm looking forward to collaborate with all of you during the next few days in order to investigate the maturity of the technology that has been developed in our project, and of course to receive the feedback from all of you in order to lay the ground for the next versions of our solution that, as we anticipate, will provide a competitive advantage to new students in the area of art in order to digitize their creations, support their creativity, and also to provide innovative revenue streams in order to provide new ways for supporting indie artists, not only big companies. And this was actually the idea that we had when we wrote the proposal, how we can create, how we can understand the students, the art students, and maybe the whole industry process, and how we can transform these needs with innovative technologies as mixed reality or mobile applications in order to provide new ways for supporting them. So I'm looking forward for a very fruitful 3 days event. It is one of the many events in the context of the CRIMS project. And please be very eager to provide your opinion in every presentation you will be attending, because what we really want from you is your feedback and your comments and ideas on how we can see the tools, and not only the tools, as well the ideas behind the tools. Because, as you know, we are in the middle of the project, so we might have some technical issues at this point in time. But the most important thing is related to how the ideas behind the tools can be easily transformed to the students, easily understood from the students, and at the later stage, how they can use the technologies in order to express themselves. So, thank you very much, Dimitris. I will provide the floor to my dear colleague, and I hope everyone will have a good experience from this event. And I'm of course available for any inquiry you might have during this event or in general. So thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you. Well, we can proceed now to our next topic in our agenda concerning an introduction to our project. Okay, I hope everybody can see my screen. Well, good morning. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to the first learning, teaching, training activity of CRIMS project. First, I'd like to thank all the participants of this event because their role is crucial for the success of our project. The aim of this event is to provide guidelines and directives to invite lecturers, researchers, and specialists from countries participating in the project, Greece, Germany, Israel, Norway, and Cyprus, about the instructional platform for organizing and presenting artistic work in virtual exhibitions. Our event covers 3 days. Tomorrow we will have a social dinner at Four Seasons restaurant in Rio at 7:30. And I think now we can proceed to a brief introduction to the CRIMS project. Well, on behalf of the coordinating partner, the University of Patras, I will present to you an overview of CRIMS project, its main objectives, and the current state of it. First of all, CRIMS project is an Erasmus Plus project which deals with scaffolding creativity of art students, aiming at proposing a framework to chain and related educational material on how students can create their own virtual exhibitions. You can see the project partners in this slide, which are the University of Patras, Cyprus University of Technology, Cognitive UX, Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, Senkar Engineering Design Art College, and the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. Here you can see our project logistics. We are approximately near the end of the second year of our project at the 22nd month. Our project ends at the end of January 2025. CRIMS proposes 4 main functions. It aspires to engage stakeholders of European higher education institutes to elicit requirements related to the creation of virtual exhibitions for art students. One of the main goals is to design, develop, and evaluate a framework and open source tools for virtual exhibitions within CRIMS educational material for higher education institutes. Stakeholders will be implemented and evaluated along with LTAs. Finally, all the produced material and tools will be disseminated through websites, social media, publications in journals, participation in conferences, organization of LTTAs, and multiplier events, taking special care for the sustainability of the project outcomes. In this context, CRIMS goals are 5-fold. Till now, we have investigated existing solutions and established a first set of specifications which were used for the development of low fidelity tools. Concerning the third aim, we performed the first formative evaluation using a class of 52 art students concerning the offering part and 27 art students as simple visitors, 79 in total, along with a focus group of 3 specialists in virtual environments. The stakeholders' feedback from the first evaluation study used for the revision of conceptual design. The second version of conceptual design was the basis for the development of high-fidelity tools based on a user-centered design methodology. This is the current version of CRIMS framework. Now we are in the middle of the second formative evaluation using a class of 80 students, while at the end of development cycle, we plan a summative evaluation use a class of 150 students in each of the participating higher education institutes. Concerning the fourth aim, we have created a repository with the first set of training webinars, manuals about framework tools, namely Digitizer, AR exhibition app, VR viewer, and editor in 5 languages, video tutorials, best practices guide, and course material. Concerning the fifth aim, we have published 4 conference and 2 journal papers, organized 1 multiplier event and 1 LTTA, and created a logo, website, and social media accounts where partners make regular updates. Here you can see CRIMS time schedule in the form of a Gantt chart. From February 2022 till November 2023, we have made progress in all project results. Concerning project result 1, in September 2022, we finalized needs validation and verification, specified readiness metrics of employing cutting-edge digital technologies, and the first version of CRIM's conceptual design. In September 2023, we fulfilled the revision of the first version of CRIM's conceptual design based on the first formative evaluation feedback and the discussions among partners. Concerning project result 2, in September 2022, we finalized CRIM's architecture and structure design, and we developed low-fidelity CRIM's tools. In September 2023, we finalized the second high-fidelity version of CRIM's tools. Concerning project result 3, in September 2022, the design of experimental methodology finalized, while in February 2023, the first formative user evaluation study completed. Now, the second formative evaluation is in progress till February 2024. Concerning the project result 4, in November 2023, we finalized the creation of the initial versions of course material, best practices guide, and training material for instructors and art students, along with the writing of manuals for ICT staff, instructors, and students. Now we are in the process of creating integration guides for ICT specialists and software engineers. Concerning the project result 5, the first 2 webinars for instructors and students conducted in May 2023 with great success. Also, we are in the process of the preparation of material for hands-on practice on creating virtual reality exhibitions. Additionally, one multiplier event organized in November 2022 within Euromed 2022 conference, while 2 others will be organized in 2024 until 2025. As far as LTTAs are concerned, the first LTTA is in progress, while 2 more LTTAs will be organized in 2024 and 2025. Furthermore, each month we have virtual project meetings along with transnational meetings at specific milestones. Till now, we have organized 3 of them, while 2 more will be organized till the end of the project. Finally, throughout the project, we run specific dissemination and exploitation activities. In this slide, you can see the 5 project results constitute the current project. The first one deals with requirements verification and conceptual design of the framework. The second one concerns the implementation of tools for digitization of physical artifacts and creation of virtual exhibitions. The third project result concerns system verification and user acceptance of the CRIM's framework through 2 formative evaluation and 1 summative evaluation at the end. The fourth project result considers the creation of a repository of course and training material, and the last one deals with training webinars. Here you can see our dissemination and sustainability plan. We have designed a logo, developed a website and social media accounts. We have organized 1 multiplier event along with a workshop in Cyprus, while we plan 2 others in Germany, February 2024, and Greece at the end of the project. Also, we have organized 1 workshop, prepare training and promotional material. We plan to get an open source software license for CRIM's tools till the end of the project. Here you can see the main functions of CRIM's framework. Concerning artworks exhibitions, as experts specified them initially. The first one concerns enabling artists to employ 3D digital exhibitions in order to reach new audiences and promote their work. The second one concerns developing tools that empower artists to present their ideas. The third one concerns the creation of multimodal in-depth descriptions following the concept of art sketchbooks. And the fourth one concerns the adaptability of the modalities employed to the aesthetic and conceptual character of the artworks. The previous functions will be implemented with a tool chain of various modalities. Here you can see the main tools we have planned to develop and their progress. The second version of 3D online virtual exhibitions is part of high-fidelity tools, while its enhancement with personalization capabilities will be part of the next development cycle, the third one. Another tool is the digitizer application that permits digitization of artworks from art students themselves via their smartphones. High-fidelity tools include a 2D version of the app enhanced with low-fidelity 3D functionalities. Part of high-fidelity tools is an augmented reality application that permits artworks presentation in outdoor environments, along with two new functionalities, one for indoor and one for outdoor exhibitions. Interactive features such as pop-up widgets with text have been incorporated in high-fidelity tools. High-fidelity tools provide a web-based workspace for art students to assign metadata on their artworks and create their own virtual exhibitions using predefined exhibition spaces or constructing their own exhibition space using advanced lighting capabilities following a curatorial approach or not. Security functionalities like authentication and authorization have been included in the high-fidelity version. Multimodal, in-depth descriptions of artworks in the form of interactive art sketchbooks are supported in the high-fidelity version, while enhancements are in progress. A low-fidelity version of mixed reality exhibition functionality offered through a native HoloLens application, along with administration and artist exhibition functionalities. The provision of digital narratives using avatars is in our future plans. In this slide, you can see the research methodology followed till now in the form of workflow. To specify the CRIMS framework user requirements, we first studied literature and relevant implemented commercial systems regarding system functionality, the involved users, and the supported content. Then our findings were triangulated concerning system designs, implemented applications, and best practices with the help of a group of art teachers. Thus, we specified the first set of design principles. Following, we created a series of mock-ups aiming at visualizing services and functionalities based on our findings. To evaluate the basic usage scenario of the CRIMS framework concerning the insights into the needs, preferences, and priorities of envisaged stakeholders, namely art students, teachers, and visitors, we designed and implemented 3 separate focus groups. The next activity is related to the definition of the quantitative and qualitative metrics that reflect the readiness higher education institutes have with regards to the aspect of employing cutting-edge digital technologies to manage results of arts-led academic work in ways that highlight the sophistication of the artworks and contextual material concerned. Results from the needs analysis and verification and the derived readiness metrics constituted the basis for setting the specifications of the framework. Those specifications in the form of conceptual design used for the design of CRIMS structure and architecture that led to the development of CRIMS low-fidelity tools. Next, we designed a concrete evaluation methodology in order to verify and validate the implemented tools. This knowledge used in the first formative evaluation, which result was our input for the revision of the conceptual design and the development of the second version of CRIMS tools, the high-fidelity ones. Complementary, a first set of course and training material was created and used in the 2 training webinars conducted in May 2023. Now the second formative evaluation is in progress, emphasizing on usability and user acceptance of the implemented tools so far. Here you can see the first version of CRIMS conceptual design, an outcome of the second milestone in September 2022. In September 2023, we revised this design. You can see here the basic modules of our framework, the back end, which supports content management services, like the art student workshop, which is used as an authoring tool for creation of virtual exhibitions, teacher services, security management, and core system functionalities. And the front end, which contains augmented reality exhibition application, virtual reality exhibitions tools, a physical artwork digitizer, and mixed reality exhibitions. In this slide, you can see the current second version of the conceptual design. We added here the knowledge repository. In the databases section, we included administration and artist services, platform's backend, along with a new core functionality, communication and dissemination, to promote such capabilities of exhibition technologies. Also, we added curatorial approach in teacher services. Finally, we added artists as a new category of users and merged the three augmented reality applications into one application with three functionalities for supporting outdoor, indoor, and in-home exhibitions. In this slide, you can see the current status of the framework development. We have developed the high-fidelity version of system backend, art student workshop, AR exhibitions viewer, AR outdoor, indoor and in-home exhibition application. Also, we have developed the high-fidelity version of 2D digitizer, and now we are in progress of enhancing this application with 3D functionalities. And finally, we have developed a first version of mixed reality native application. As far as evaluation is concerned, we have designed experimental methodology, finalized the first formative evaluation, while the second formative evaluation is in progress. In this slide, you can see the progress concerning course and training material till now. We have created the course and training material for instruction and students, the initial versions, and guides of best practices and training material for instructors and ICT-related staff. Also, we have conducted the first set of training webinars on conceptual aspects of virtual reality for teachers and art students. In this slide, you can see our progress concerning multiplier events, LTTAs, and dissemination and exploitation activities. Specifically, till November 2023, we have developed project logo, website, social media accounts. We have organized one workshop in conjunction with the first multiplier event, and now we have in progress the first LTTA. Also, we have presented 4 conference papers in well-known international conferences, and we have 2 accepted journal papers in well-known international journals such as the Journal of Cultural Heritage and the Journal of Digital Archaeology and Cultural Heritage. Here you can see our publications, first the journal papers and then the conference papers. Well, that's all. I attempted to give you the current status of our project in all its modules. I'd like to thank you all for your attention and patience. If there is any question, I'll try to answer it. Thank you. Well, if there is no question, now we can proceed to our first coffee break. I think it's time, and come back at 3:30, according to our agenda, discussing the event agenda. Thank you. Now we can proceed to our next topic in our agenda, which is the event agenda itself. I will say some things about it, and maybe you can ask a question if there is something. That is not clear. Okay. Well, actually, we have our event with a welcome from the host and an introduction to the project. Now, some, let's say, bureaucratic details. The title of the event is Training Teachers on Platform Application and Methods of Creating and Publishing Diverse Digital Materials. The place, of course, is the Hospitable Interactive Technologies Lab of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering of the University of Patras. All the partners contribute with presentations or learners to this event. Our purpose is to provide guidelines and directives to invite lecturers, researchers, and specialists from all the countries participating in the project about the platform itself and the educational material. Now, some key objectives of this event is, first of all, to bring to the invitees' attention the importance of the whole issue of using virtual technologies for teaching purposes in art schools. Representatives, especially the in-person participants, will come in contact with CRIM's platform that offers tools for creation of virtual exhibitions and viewing such exhibitions. We wish to promote our solution on the local and national level through the dissemination of the platform. And finally, we aspire to give all the support to our participants in order to go back to their countries and use our tools for teaching and training purposes. This is the first day of our agenda. Our topic this day is to make an introduction to the project and say some things about the current status of all the project results. The second day, we have all the training and manual material in order to prepare our participants for the training activities. Here, NTNU will give us one presentation about training materials, and all the other presentations will be given by Kat, which is the leader of Project Result 4, which deals mainly with course and training material preparation. I'd like to mention here that we have a request from our artist, Dr. Uros Todorovic, in order to transfer his talk from the third day to the second one. If everybody agrees, I propose to transfer this presentation for 5 o'clock tomorrow in order to help our participant. At the end of the second day, of course, we have the social dinner at 7:30. We have picked a well-known restaurant here in the region of Patras and Achaia in general, the restaurant of Four Seasons in Rio, which is famous for its Greek cuisine. It's nearby from the university campus. And the last day considers all the training activities and roundtable discussions about the experience we gained throughout the project till now and future challenges we should face. More or less, this is our agenda schedule for this 3-day event. At the end of this first LTA, we aspire to have specific outcomes. At least the participating instructors and trainers will gain new proficiency and expertise related to the significance of sharing online digital art related material through adequate channels. We should familiarize them with our tools and approaches. We will give them all the knowledge about the implementing tutorials, manuals, best practices guides in order to use them when they go back, and of course make related networking with other colleagues from different higher education institutes. This is, let's say, an overview of our 3-day agenda. Is there any question? Okay, then. Well, we can proceed to the next topic, which is the presentation of the outcomes of project results. And the first project result is project result 1. I'd like to call Dr. Sileo to give us the first talk. Stella, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Dimitris, could you please
I give you permission, yes.
That's perfect. Thank you very
To
much.
share your screen.
Thank you very much. I will present the results of the first intellectual output that concerns the requirements verification and conceptual design of the framework for virtual exhibitions. The role of the first intellectual output is to verify and validate results from the literature through real-world case studies with key stakeholders at different universities, define quantitative and qualitative metrics for user acceptability, set the specifications of the CRIMS platform framework, and last but not least, design the conceptual and methodological framework of the CRIMS platform. This is more or less the project workflow that we have followed. As Professor Kokopoulos has said, we firstly studied the literature and the relevant commercial systems regarding the system functionality, the involved users, and the supported content, concerning always the tools for creating virtual exhibitions. We have created a series of mock-ups aiming to visualize services and functionalities that were based on our findings. And also, we based our results also on the answers that the participants in focus group have provided. We have created the readiness metrics that Panagiotis Dafiotis will analyze in his presentation, and based on a state-of-the-art literature analysis, identification, and definition of the metrics, we have reflected the level of readiness that the universities have concerning the employment of digital technologies to manage results of arts-led academic work in ways that highlight, of course, not only the sophistication of the artworks, but also their context. The results from the needs analysis and verification and the readiness metrics constituted the basis for setting the specifications of the framework for the design and the development of the CRIMS platform, related technologies and methods. We have created the low-fidelity tools, firstly, that have been thoroughly evaluated during the first formative evaluation. Then we have revised the conceptual design of CRIMS platform. We have developed the high-fidelity, the next version, the high-fidelity tools, and now we are in the phase of the second formative evaluation. And of course, in parallel, course and training materials and the first training webinars have been created. Please let me analyze some main points of our research. Concerning the needs validation, the workflow consists of 2 steps. The first step is related to the mapping of existing approaches, requirements, and special characteristics of the material to be communicated through virtual exhibitions. And the second step is related to the verification of findings of the needs analysis through semi-structured interviews with stakeholders of the participating universities. The revised conceptual design is based on the formative user evaluation studies that tested the effectiveness from the perspective of the system integrity, the technological approach, the aptitude for exhibiting artistic material from the perspective of the art specialists, and of course, the art education, its potential for providing meaningful engagement with art that leads to learning. And secondly, the revised conceptual design was based on the discussion among consortium members and, of course, with stakeholders from the universities. Some additional information concerning the system. The system contains tools that empower artists to present contextual issues, ideas, and of course, personal thoughts about their artworks. It enables artists to employ 3D virtual exhibitions to reach new audiences and, of course, to promote their work. It facilitates the creation of multimodal descriptions of selected artworks in the form of art sketchbooks. It promotes the adaptability of the modalities employed to the aesthetic and the conceptual character of the artworks. It provides easy-to-use tools for the creation of the 3D virtual exhibitions and multimodal descriptions of artworks in the form of interactive tools. And of course, use digital narrative. As Professor Kokopoulos has said, there are 4 user types: the teaching staff, the students, and the visitors, and of course the administrators, that are people with a specific technical expertise, able to set up the framework within universities. And the main entities are the exhibition and the artwork. Artworks can be 2-dimensional, like paintings, 3-dimensional, like sculptures, and we have created a specific digitization tool, the 3D digitizer, that provides to the artist the ability to scan and model sculptures, 3D artworks, and of course time-based media like videos and animation and installations. The content can be classified in the content, context, and model-based attributes. The content-based attributes are thematic attributes in the form of text, videos, images, and of course geolocation data. The context-based attributes may be video or audio narrations related to an artwork or the exhibition itself. And the model-based attributes are related to the personalization and publishing on social media. We have classified the services depending on the role, on the user role that belong to. The core services that can be used by all users, the teaching staff services that are related to the initiation and the evaluation, the assessment of the students' exhibitions, and the student services that are targeted at students that use the framework in all stages of the exhibition procedure. Concerning the core services that can be used by all users, there are services related to the authentication and registration, to the authorization with specific user roles that provide permission on specific data and services, administration services, geolocation services, both on desktop and mobile settings, especially concerning the tool that can be used by the students to create, or the artists, to create an outdoor exhibition or on a mobile setting by visitors to locate exhibitions and artworks outdoors. Personalization services, analytics, log files that can be used for improving the system, viewing and searching artworks or exhibitions, and of course copyright protection. Concerning the teaching staff services, as we have said, we have the service with which we can, the art teacher can initiate an exhibition and assess an exhibition. Also, the teaching staff can also set a number of co-advisors to the students that also assess the exhibitions. But only the advisor can put an overall assessment. The student services have to do with the artwork management, the artwork digitization, the exhibition creation, and of course the exhibition management. We will have an idea seeing some screenshots later on. And last but not least, the visitor services that are targeting to people that use the framework and provide them with services for social media sharing and rating. Also, the visitors can rate the exhibitions or specific artwork. Initially, we have selected some criteria that concern user, environment, context, and community. Criteria concerning the user are related to usability and user experience. Criteria concerning the environment are connected with visuals and the ability to manipulate places and possible functionalities. Criteria concerning the context are related to dynamic contextual provisions, and criteria concerning the community have to do with social interaction and inclusion. To construct the metrics, we identified several criteria and that are considered as essential for the creation of a virtual exhibition. And these operators, let's say, are organized according to 4 axes that together form the fundamental of a successful virtual exhibition platform. These axes and its extremities are visualized in this slide. And there are many interesting results from the evaluations concerning various aspects of the system, like, for example, given the need of videos concerning the functions of the CRIMS platform, an interactive system that provides them with guidance and support when they need to, error messages, identifying the problem that the users confront, the ability to share the exhibitions over the social media, and also the ability to save multiple versions of the exhibition, and the ability of art teachers to interact with the student by intervening visually, let's say, in the gallery. A preview of some screenshots concerning the tools that have been developed. Firstly, a screenshot from the initial phase when an art teacher initiates an exhibition. And as we can see, these are current unpublished exhibitions by students and also current published exhibitions by students, temporary stored exhibitions that are still accepting artworks, ready to be assessed when exhibitions in which the assessment has already started, assessed exhibitions, and the final stage, published exhibitions. A screenshot with some basic exhibition fields, with the exhibition title, when the exhibition starts and when it finishes, what kind of type of space type the user would like to use, if there will be separate spaces, a shared room, a shared floor, the number of participants, the maximum artworks, and of course a short description. A screenshot in which an art teacher assesses an exhibition. Here you can see the art teacher dashboard, the exhibition assignments with the start and the end date, the number of participants, and the artworks. Exhibitions created by students. What kind of exhibitions? VR exhibitions, virtual reality exhibitions, augmented reality exhibition. How many artworks are still to be included in the exhibition, if the exhibition has started or not started, if it is assessed or not, etc. And the art student dashboard. What are how many exhibitions? What are the artworks that have been included in these exhibitions? What is the procedure for adding an artwork to a virtual exhibition? What is the basic information that will be included? The title of the artwork, the year of its creation, what kind, its kind, 2D through 3D installations or time-based media, its height, width, depth, unit of measurement, what kind of technique, etc., and of course the image. How the art student can set up an exhibition space. You can see that you can select a space from an existing museum, or the color that you would like to have in the walls, if you would like to have an ambient audio, etc. How the user can set up an outdoor exhibition. You can see that there is a digital map with the information about the specific location of the outdoor exhibition, its description, its narration, and of course the various artworks that will be included in the exhibition. And when a visitor is viewing a 3D exhibition with paintings and 3D sculptures, and if a visitor would like to view an artwork in a 3D exhibition with the information that I have mentioned before included. Views of an exhibition using the mobile application. If you are a visitor, you can display the closest gallery or the closest artwork, where this is located, what are the artworks that are included, etc. And the augmented reality in-home projection, the tool for creating a virtual exhibition with the help of augmented reality in your home, in your office, with the help always of a smartphone or a tablet. So that's all from me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Stella. Is there any question for Stella? Okay, then we can ask from Dr. Belk to take the floor and give us a short presentation about the basic outcomes of project result.
Okay. I think I'm muted, or it's okay.
I think it's okay.
It's okay. I can start. Okay. If it's okay, I will start.
Have you shared it?
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Marius Belf from Cognitive UX GmbH, a software development company based in Heidelberg, Germany. Before I start, I would like to thank you very much. Thank you to the coordinator and the University of Patras team for hosting this event and for the great hospitality. So in this presentation, I'm going to give you an update on the project result 2, which relates to the design and development of the main tools of the Teams platform. So I will start with an overview of project result 2, give you information about the main objectives, the tasks, the main leaders that were involved in this project result set. And then I'm going to give you information on overview of the high fidelity tools. This is the latest version that we have implemented, with a bit more focus on the teacher services, instructor services, given the topic of this LTTA event. So we'll start with an overview. So project result 2, as I mentioned, relates to the design development of the main tools to support the digitization of physical artifact implementation of virtual exhibitions. Leader of this project result is Cognitive UX, with all the other partners of CRIMS participating in this project result. The aim is to implement, design, and develop various tools and technologies to support the digitization of physical artifacts. So we have a dedicated partner, the Cyprus University of Technology, is implementing smartphone application for 2D and 3D digitization. Then we aim to implement various tools to support the management of the various digital artifacts within a virtual reality exhibition workshop, augmented reality editor, and eventually communicate all this information, the exhibitions, in various forms, like virtual reality exhibition, an augmented reality exhibition, and a mixed reality exhibition. So we have different sets of tools for this. Key objectives, based on the technical annex, we have set 4 main objectives. Objective A relates to the design of a software architecture to realize the conceptual design that was produced as part of project result 1. Objective B is the actual implementation of the various technological tools for streamlining the digitization and the organization of the various material and data. Objective C, implement metrics and indicators for user acceptability, ease of use, adequate sense of presence as part. So here we are more in communication with the partners from PR3, project result 3, which relates to the user evaluation studies. And objective D relates to the implementation of open source technologies for personalizing the virtual exhibition narratives. We have 3 main tasks. One relates to the architectural and structural design, co-led by Cognitive UX and the University of Patras. Task 2.4 relates to the digitization of physical artifacts and the personalization of virtual exhibition based on customized narratives, leader Cyprus University of Technology. And task 2.3, the development, integration, and privacy preservation of all the developed components. As you can see, there is a zoom in into the Gantt chart that relates to PR2. So what I'm showing here from the interim period and afterwards, from month 18 until 36, until the end of the project. We recently completed in September the high fidelity tools, and we are currently supporting the team from project result 3 to run the user evaluation studies, receive feedback. We're doing some fine tunings currently, and based on the feedback we're going to receive, we're going to implement the final system as part of the third development cycle of CRIMS. Now I'm going to give you an overview of the high fidelity tools and technologies. I'm not going to go into much into this slide. Dr. Sir already mentioned it. So as you can see, we have various components which to support the digitization of physical artifacts and tools to support students into managing and assigning these digital artifacts in virtual reality exhibitions. And we have also various other services that relate to for instructors for learning purposes. So we have tools which enable instructors to assess the exhibitions. We have also recently implemented a new approach, the curatorial approach, which is a process in which the instructor and the students communicate before starting the exhibition, in which the instructor provides feedback to the student about their artwork, the reasoning behind the selection of artworks, and eventually to provide feedback before they actually start the whole implementation. So according to this conceptual design, we have decided in early stages of the project various technologies to implement this. So we have followed a client-server architecture. Basically, we have on the right side the team server with various technologies, PostgreSQL for database management, Django, Nginx, Python-based. All these tools have been decided that these are state-of-the-art technologies to implement basically this client-server architecture. The reason behind it was to have a server on the one hand, expose the various APIs to various clients, because on the left side you can see we have different tools, client applications. So we have the digitizer mobile application, which is implemented as an Android app. We have the art-centered content management system, which is a web-based application, virtual exhibitions, which is part actually of this art-centered content management system. We have the AR mobile applications, which is again a native Android application, and the mixed reality native app has been implemented based on the Microsoft HoloLens 1 and based on Unity. So we had different technologies on the client side, and we have one different content and material on the right side, which is hosted by the server and exposed to an API, an application programming interface. So these are some more information on the backend architecture. As I mentioned, we use different state-of-the-art technologies for load balancing. So having in mind, eventually we are going to implement the proof of concept in this project, but we have the technology in place for someone to continue this, and we're going to offer it as an open source, and we have in mind to use technology so that someone can scale up this platform. Now, the high fidelity tools and each responsible partner that was involved in the development. So Cognitive was responsible to implement the artist-centered content management system, the platform and integration. As part of this content management system, we have a web-based virtual reality editor workshop, as well as a viewer for visitors, and the native mixed reality app. As another tool, Cyprus University of Technology is responsible to implement the digitizer app for 2D and 3D digitization rendering through the smartphone app. And the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, LabGeo, is responsible for the implementation of the augmented reality application for outdoor, indoor exhibitions and in-home exhibitions. So I'm going to go through each of these technologies. I will start with some key points, key features, and then I'm going to show a demonstration video. And then the third day, we're also going to have a slot for you to interact with this technology. So the artist-centered content management system, I would say this is the main platform, the backend in which someone can authenticate, access the various materials, some key features which are relevant. So I picked some important components which I think might be more relevant for this event. So we have two main features for instructors and students. So instructors can access the system in order to initiate an exhibition. Okay, someone initiates an exhibition. After initiating the exhibition as part of a class, university class, the instructor assigns enrolled students to their course to this exhibition. So I see this as we can say that this is project of a course, for example. So the teacher, the instructor starts the exhibition, assigns students, can assign co-advisors as well as part of this project. And we also have assessment tools, regular assessment in which after the student uploads or finishes the exhibition, the instructor and the co-advisors can provide feedback in the form of text, textual information, or uploading the document for the assessment. We also implemented the curatorial approach, which is a process, specific process in which the instructor provides feedback before the student even starts the exhibition, before feedback on the selection of artworks, grouping the artworks, the reasoning behind the selection, the description that they're going to use as part of their exhibition to, let's say, give a go to the students to start taking the exhibition. And we also recently implemented a communication chat component so that the instructor and the student can communicate through chat. On the other side, students also access the systems through their credentials. They have the role of a student. Once they are assigned to a specific exhibition, they can start participating in this virtual reality exhibition and start assigning, create their space, assign artworks, which have been already digitized using the digitizer applications. Here in this platform, the student can also manage the digitized artifacts. Something that I digitized on my smartphone is sent to the CRIM server, and I can view it from the platform. Manage media, as I said, create the VR exhibition through the workshop/editor, have an editor for AR, for the AR exhibition, in which through Google Maps, the student can assign specific artwork that they would like to be shown, given that on a specific point on Google Maps. So when a visitor uses the AR smartphone app and is nearby that location, they will be able to see the artwork through augmentation on their phone. And as in the left side, the curatorial approach and the communication chat component is also available because there's a main interface, communication interface between the instructor and the student. So some snapshots, I will go through this to give you some info, and I'm going to show a demo video, which I think is better for you. So students, instructors can access, and the administrators eventually can access the platform through a single point of user authentication based on role-based access management. Instructors dashboard. So as you can see, this is the actual system, which was based on the prototypes that were designed as part of PR1. Here, the instructor can view the various status of the exhibitions, initiate an exhibition, assess and communicate with the students. So starting a basic exhibition, the instructor provides an image, title, start date, some information to start the exhibition, and then they go to the enrollment phase in which they enroll. So here we can see eventually the instructor will see a list of their enrolled students, assign their students to the exhibition by clicking on this field and adding co-advisors, and then the student is assigned to this project. And we also provide links open from here and from other places as well in the platform to start the chat, start the curatorial process, and also provide a final assessment of this specific exhibition. So this list basically is editable eventually after assigning the students. From the student's view now, once the student authenticates into the system, they will see a list of exhibitions that they have been assigned. So here you can see the exhibitions, which they can access, the artworks, which is managing the artworks once they have been digitized or uploaded through the system, and also managing other types of media, audio, video, and communication with the instructor. So here, once I click on a specific exhibition, I can access the editor, the VR editor, basically, which is an indoor exhibition, which is a rich tool to create virtual exhibition spaces, assign the artworks, and any other media. And the third thing is the access to the outdoor exhibition management, in which through Google Maps, the student assigns the artwork to the Google Map, and the curatorial process is accessed through the last link. So, virtual reality workshop. This is I'm going to give a snapshot. This is the latest version. We have been making some improvements in the last weeks based on feedback that we received from the partners from PR3. We have an interim version, which we are going to show, and we made some improvements on the semantics and the interaction design of assigning an artwork on the walls, creating a sketchbook, and so on. So here, this is a virtual reality space within the web page, and I can use all these tools to assign basically, for example, artworks. Click on a wall, assign the artwork, and then put lighting on the specific artwork, adjust some metrics, the size, the positioning, and so on. I can change the texture of the walls, change the ambient light of the room, and so on. So this is an example of a version that we created. So this is a model, a 3D model of the Schenker Gallery from our partners from Schenker. So the partners from Schenker provided us the actual physical space of their room. We created a model as part of our application and also assigned various artwork with the lighting. And this is an example of a room that we created. Another example of a sketchbook, which has been created through our tool. There's a wall specific. This indicates basically that I can add artwork here with some information and also associate other material to this artwork with the lighting features. As you can see, we have created a dark ambient light with a spotlight on the artwork. So all this has been done actually through using the tool. And another example. Now I'm going to show you a video demonstration of the virtual reality editor, which is also available. All the information that I'm showing is also available through the website of CRIMS. So here I'm creating, sorry, let me start again. So here basically the scenario goes as follows. The student wants to start the exhibition, and they can create by clicking on specific boxes the layout of the room. By clicking on boxes, I'm creating basically rooms with the layout that I want. Starting point, and this is the room with a T shape. This has been created dynamically. This is the VR editor, and the student clicks on a wall, adds a placeholder, adds lighting, and can edit the ambient light, assign artworks now. As you can see, the student can change the metrics relevant to the artwork. Or the text, the title. We have added a spotlight, which is through advanced features, we can change the strength, the distance from the object. This is a sketchbook feature in which the student can assign artworks to a specific artwork with more, we basically provide associated material to that artwork. Again, assigning artwork, textual information, a video, or textual information. Yes. Yes.
I don't know if it is out of the blue, but it would be interesting in
investigate whether people want to go into a deeper level of an existing artwork in order to show a next artwork. Because I've seen some videos in YouTube where you zoom in to a piece of a picture, and then this specific figure you have zoomed in expands. It is a new image, which again I can zoom in, and then I zoom in on another sketch, and so I have multiple layers that are hidden in one sketch. I don't know if this came out in the requirements analysis or during the, because now it is different sketches,
yes,
which you place in different spaces within the room you created. But if you can hide an art into another art,
yes,
you go deeper and deeper. It makes sense. Just a
good point. One a bit relevant to what you said is that came out from the requirements analysis to associate basically more information, leverage on the hypermedia aspect of the virtual exhibitions to connect elements. And
for example, you could have a video within specific points of the picture and the identification approach. Then people find something in the puzzle and then take a video and ask questions. And you can make this a lot more creative. I'm not an art teacher, nor an art student.
I'd like to highlight something as well. In general, in museography, that means when you're doing some kind of exhibition in a physical space, you have a simplified version. You have just the artifacts and nothing else. Possibly a complementary text in a very small scale typography. And all this hypermedia would be benefit the information concerning the main artifact. But from the other hand, it's a lot of information, visual information that lowers the qualitative information of the artifact. This is qualitative information, it's interesting, but possibly I agree you have to type this in some kind of upper layer, but it's not so exposed.
Yes,
for the first time.
Yes, I agree with you. And just a note on this, what we are seeing here. So this is a feature that it's called the sketchbook. Basically, we see all this information in the editing view. As a viewer, as a visitor, the idea is that all this is hidden. When I click on this artwork, then it pops up. All this information is popped up. So yeah. But yes, it's a good point, and I think I agree as well that we should leverage on the aspect of these tools to connect more information. Another idea that came up is to have maybe a hotspot or specific link where another page can open with much more information. If someone wants to view it, to go on this page.
Is there an ability here to the viewers mode to see why
and this is something that we are currently working on. Yeah, this came up in the past weeks. Yes, basically to see it as a viewer in this version.
Even with the editor mode, the interesting idea to have some kind of different information architecture of the visualization of the overall material. Because now I don't know if the blue text is why we have blue text and not black. More information, the hierarchy of information here is a little bit.
You mean the is editable? You mean as a layer before? Or
No, it's an editor. Why I have to have blue text here? Why we have this blue text? Is it for the end user? You have the blue text description of blue. What is written? Why it is written in blue color?
Yes, but this is the idea is to provide the tool to the student to adjust this. The blue is an example of this demo, but someone can change the color.
Yeah. I agree.
Yes.
But in overall, in the physical exposition of fine art, when you go to the museum in the physical space, you will never have multiple colors.
Okay, you mean to have a default coloring, for example?
You have a simplified, very,
Okay, yes.
a complementary approach of information to emphasize to the artifact,
Correct.
rather than give some other visual clues that
Mhm.
attracts comprehension from the artifact to
Mhm.
the other elements.
Mhm. So an idea is to, for example, to have make a more simple version.
Yeah.
Maybe this is more advanced. You have more tools for the student, but maybe have a more simple version in which default text, default colors are being used.
Possibly from the best practices of museography, so of the museographic practices. Let's say the curator always have text in predefined typeface and 24 points for that.
Mhm.
So I think this has to be the master template in order to have a global application of this example. And if the student wants to emphasize on the text field, which is, from my point of view, will be not so complimentary for his art,
Mhm.
because he's doing information design to the other elements rather than focusing on
Correct.
the artifact.
Yes, yes.
This is the main job that he has to do. He has to promote the final
Yes,
piece of
the
his
final
art,
piece, yeah.
not the information material in blue or other color.
Mhm.
So,
Good. Very good feedback.
time for another one.
I think that we should continue to keep the questions for the public.
All right. Finish. Okay, so I'm continuing.
Here you can see the strength of the offering to want to give many alternatives. That should express his creativity. This is the function.
We can assign videos as part of an artwork, as part of the sketch. But we can also assign it on a wall standalone.
Can I ask you?
Yes. Okay.
Not an important aspect in my point. If I'm not an art, we can be more an art teacher. If I would be, I would imagine that here, the distance I have gallery. So what is the distance the viewer has with the art? Because I saw that you can change the width and the height of the piece of art you create. So my art might be important for an artist to set up as well the distance the viewer has to have in the virtual environment in order to get the message. Because if I'm too close, I might lose the message. If I'm too far, maybe I can lose the message. Or the angle. If there's a point you consider in the design.
Well, the size of the actual artwork was something that we considered, but the angle of the camera and the view this is not
The distance.
and the distance. I don't recall this. If this was part of the dramatis. Okay, to move on, and I'm going to focus a bit more on the types of assessment. We have two types of assessment. First approach is, let's say, classic approach in which an instructor assesses the work and provides feedback after final submission from the student. And the second approach, which has been implemented in the last development cycle, rolled out, is the curatorial approach, in which the instructor provides feedback on the selection of their artwork. So before the student actually enters the virtual exhibition editor, the student goes through the curatorial approach, which is basically an interface between instructor and student, in which the student goes through specific steps, as I'm going to show in a bit, the selection of the actual artworks, how they group them together, the semantics, the description. Then the instructor provides feedback and says, okay, do provide some feedback on changes on wording, on the description, or once they finalize this phase before they actually start, they can give it a go. So this is an interface in which the instructor provides an assessment through the assessment button, and the instructor and the co-advisor can provide in the form of textual feedback, provide information, feedback to, not feedback, actually the final assessment to the student after they submit their artwork. In approach 2, which is the curatorial approach, these are the steps in which the student selects the artwork, arranges them in groups, describes the arrangements, then the instructor sees the arrangements, provides feedback, and finally expands the narrative for the whole exhibition. So this is a process, a pipeline in which, here, for example, the student selects, this is the available list of artworks. The student says, okay, I want to select this, or all the 3 artworks as part of the exhibition. Then groups them, creates a group based on, so these feedback, these are specifications that were provided to us by the partners and by the end user partners on how this curatorial process goes. Arrange artworks in groups based on the coloring, the content, and so on. Once the group is created, the student will assign it to a specific group. Then the student in the next step provides a description about the arrangement, about semantics behind it, submits the description for each available group, and the instructor then on the other side sees per group the description, the selected artworks, and provides feedback, which is then used on the other side by the students. So as you can see, this is a classic interaction communication tool, which is following a specific process of this curatorial approach. Student views the lecturer's feedback and can further make the improvements on the description. In the final stage, the student provides the title of the exhibition, the audience, and the description about the whole exhibition. And the last stage, after the student completes this, here the instructor can again provide an assessment and upload a PDF with their assessment for that specific exhibition for that student. Okay, now I'm going to move on. I'm going to show some more information about the other tools, the CREAMS AR application. So this is an augmented reality application implemented by the team from Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. It's a smartphone app which enables visitors to interact with the digitized artifacts based on geolocation services as part of an outdoor exhibition, indoor augmentation by scanning a QR code once the QR code has been assigned to a specific artwork. You can view it in an indoor exhibition, and the in-home version. So these are some snapshots. As you can see, this is an example of an outdoor exhibition. So this specific artwork that is being augmented in the smartphone app is shown because that specific user is in close proximity to that specific artwork, actually on Google Maps based on GPS services. The in-home version is in which there is a scenario in which the visitor has a list of artworks, selects an artwork, and then that specific artwork, irrespective to the location of the visitor, we can see that specific artwork in their space. And the last example is scanning a QR code. For example, we can create a physical exhibition with the actual physical artwork and add a QR code next to it, change the QR code. Once it is scanned, we can see the, any digitized information about that artwork in the smartphone app. So these are 3 scenarios that have been implemented. And a video demo of this tool. An Android application. This actual artwork, which has been digitized, is shown because the user is in close proximity to that location. It was too far from the actual point, it's not been shown. And the in-home function, having a list of artworks in the gallery, selecting the artwork, and I can augment it in my space, which can be a 2D and eventually 3-dimensional artifact in the space. Yes, this specific version, we're currently looking into ways on augmenting it on the wall. So this was a QR scan. Yes, there are some technical things that we're looking at. He's looking at to augment it beyond the floor. Yes, yes, yes. The CRIMS digitizer application. So this is again an Android application implemented by the team from the University of Technology. Users, students mostly basically are logging into the application, and they can scan a 2-dimensional artifact, painting, or a 3-dimensional artifact. Currently, the 2D scanning is considered, I would say, a high fidelity version, which the student can scan the 2D artifact, crop it, and upload it on the server. The 3-dimensional scanning is a low fidelity version and is still under development. It's a semi-automated approach still and hasn't been integrated under this application. So basically, there are mechanisms in which the student scans various layers of the actual 3D artifact, and then the next step is to upload this a Python mechanism, which it will then create the 3D model. So at this stage, this is not an automated process in which I'm scanning, uploading, model creation. So it's still semi-automated. And in the next version, the plan is to improve that and put that as part of the whole pipeline of CRIMS as well. So this is the cropping functionality of the digitizer app. The student takes a snapshot, crops it, and uploads it on the server. And this is, as I said, it's the image capturing for 3D. Student can capture the various sides, the 3D artifact, then these images are being uploaded on the server. And then another mechanism, which is another interface at this point in time, is being uploaded so that the 3D model can be created and then assigned to the platform. Video demo.
Are these models, these 3 models, which format?
It's
open with standard.
It's I don't recall the exact format, but we looked at this point so that it's compatible with the MR, and we chose we tested the file types and it's compatible with all our applications. but it's a different. I don't recall the exact 3D model. It's not an animation of the typical, let's say, data types. But yes, this was one of the challenges actually, that to have something that is compatible with everything.
Because cropping I can do it with ENSO.
Yes, this is a picture PNG. Yes.
With geometry,
Correct.
texture,
Mhm.
then I can model it
Mhm.
if the output is compatible.
Mhm. This is the 2D and the 3D. So the idea here is to capture all the layers. All these images are stored locally, and then it's uploaded on the server. And this is where I mentioned that it's not part of the whole pipeline. It's not happening automatically, everything. Then the team from the Cyprus University of Technology has created a mechanism in which these images are being combined as part of a 3D model. You mean to take a video? Yes. Correct. Yes, good point. You can tell that to our colleagues from CAT. Exactly. Yes, much easier for the user. So these are the images.
You don't need to ask him about new images.
Yes. Send images to Python script, and then yes. But that's good point. I'm going to.
Where is the measure? It's not mature yet.
Not mature yet. It's we have seen it. It creates a model, but it's not so accurate, so it's still under development. Yes, everything that we implement is open source. Will be eventually. The new version will be also available open source. And last application is so in this development cycle, we also started implementing a native mixed reality application for mixed reality, using the micro with HoloLens, Unity. So what we wanted to do in this version, and because it's the first time we rolled it out, is to design and develop the main screens of this app, connected with the Creams API, so that the artworks that are on the platform are shown in the mixed reality app, and provide some interactivity with the digital artifacts. In the next development cycle, we plan to enhance it with more user interactivity. And also another feature that we are working on, but it's not rolled out yet, is to, while I'm wearing the HoloLens device, and I have an actual physical artifact, once I view the physical artifact, we do image recognition, image similarity test, and then the digital artifact or any associated media related to that physical artifact is shown, is augmented in this mixed reality environment. And another feature that we're also going to implement is providing a narrative, a model talking to the visitor while viewing, while I'm within an exhibition. So this is a snapshot of the gallery. These are artworks that are retrieved from the platform and shown. I'm going to show a quick demo of this last tool, which we're also going to show in the third day. We have a Microsoft HoloLens here for you to test it. All this information is part of the actual Creams platform in which the artworks are being retrieved. And this is a bit older version. We have also added videos and associated material with an artwork. So this These are artworks that are being shown, and I can also position them by leveraging on the ungestured tools, ungestured functions of the micro-HoloLens. This is associated material with that specific artwork. Yes, yes.
So in the web solution, I can create a space, and then I can move within the space and look at different artworks. And I was expecting to see this, in the mixed reality, because I mean the main how to say challenge, and maybe it's well, difficult, but the main idea was to support mixed reality and virtual reality. So beyond clicking, which is trivial.
Yes, this is as I mentioned, it's an initial version to show
At
gallery.
the end of the time, move, I guess, coexistence of the tools, meaning that I create in the 2D space, and then I can use the mixed reality interface in order to walk in the space I created.
Yes, actually, the virtual reality and the mixed reality, I mean, the VR editor is it's not it's a different space compared to the mixed reality. So the mixed reality environment, as we based on the discussions we had, is to basically, yes, in this first version, I agree with you, it's a bit trivial to show the images, the actual artworks, but this was a first step to connect basically create the main screens connected with the Films platform. But eventually the idea in the mixed reality is to connect the physical, combine basically the physical artwork with the digitized artwork, not within the VR exhibition, but the artwork. Yes, so the one key mechanism, one key feature here is the image similarity. So you have the physical artwork, for example, this poster, I digitized it, it's part of the Films platform. I view it, I compare it, and then I retrieve information that is associated with that artifact. But the VR space that I have created is something different. It's not part of the mixed reality.
For indie artists, I mean, they don't have the ability to make physical exhibition. So they rather opt for a virtual exhibition. Beyond web, if I use the metaverse, for example, if I use this technology, then I'm not in the physical, so to augment on a physical artifact, the digital. So I would expect that there will be at least a continuity between the tools that I have for virtual exhibition as well within the mixed reality.
The web VR that you mentioned is this is I would say the relevant scenario is the VR. So this can be also viewed using a VR headset. For example, we tested it with Oculus, and it can be. I mean, the web VR that we've seen in the browser can also be shown in Oculus, for example, which is a VR headset. I don't know if this covers the VR aspect. But mixed reality, I think it's where you blend physical with the. I mean, the student eventually has the choice to create a VR exhibition, an augmented reality exhibition. So it's not or use mixed reality for blending mixed physical with digital. That's the idea. But yeah, maybe the web VR scenario that I've shown, it's not only web-based, it can also be shown because we based the whole development on A-Frame, which is a well-known framework. This can be, it's also compatible with specific VR headsets like Oculus, for example.
Mixed reality is all about the interplay between the real world and the digital world. You should have the real world in order to interact with the digital world. Is let's say at the limit with the world. We need both of them to interact. You see the real thing and to interact with the digital thing. This is the idea till now.
Yes.
Maybe we have more ideas when we interplay with this technology.
Okay, that's it. Thank you for your attention. Nice questions, feedback. These are some links with information and the latest technology. The ongoing all this information, the source code is available open source on the GitHub repository.
Is there any question for Dr. Bell? We have 10 more minutes. I'd like to ask online participants if they have a question for Dr. Then also. Design. I think you're missing a set of icons that will help the different variations of the stage of implementation of the final exhibit of the artist. Until now, you have some color variations, which are a little bit difficult to comprehend and recall. So it would be nice to have, let's say, a set of 12 or 20 icon sets that can help you to the various stages, something that we don't have until now. I haven't seen them. And another thing that I've seen is that you have, for the examples, you have some mock-ups of some artifacts, that they are really mostly on graphic-oriented. It would be nice if you have samples from real artistic pictures of artists to understand better the color variations in the virtual world, because now we have some vivid colors that are very, they are very vivid. So maybe they are also emphasizing or not emphasizing the overall approach that we are doing. It would be nice if you have some real artworks of the artists. Let's say to take some samples from the various universities.
Exactly. From the evaluations, actually, I think it's a good idea to get actually.
These big follows. Yes.
I think that's a good point. After the evaluations that run, after the evaluations that are currently running, because actual students from the university are going to use it to get for you to use these images for the actual artwork.
The third thing that I've seen is that this is a nice platform. It is artifact centric. I would like to have it also an artist centric. I'm missing the artist here. What is the artist? We should have a component that express the artist, possibly with photogrammetry, I don't know how, to speak about his work or her work.
Okay.
So it would be because sometimes when we are converting physical space to digital one, we are losing the reality. We are losing this physicality, and we need the artists to express this what he's doing, what kind of installation, even the 3D installation, because so far we've seen some 2D examples. But you know, you have some 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 qualitative aspect of the work. You know, some kind of the artist can have
the body while painting and see the.
Το αποτύπωμα που αφήνει από το στον πίνακα δεν είναι δηλαδή μόνο το χρώμα, το έγχρωμο, είναι η επιφάνεια, πώς λειτουργεί. Αυτό δεν μπορεί να αποδοθεί στο digital space. Με τίποτα. Ούτε με το Oculus. There's no technology, so you have to use the real artist to express what he's doing with the job.
Virtual human.
Thank you.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Is there any idea about supporting artists to monetize their exhibitions? Or will be there a tool for providing them analytics?
Yes, the plan. So we had some feedback on how someone can monetize. What we're planning to do is to implement dissemination mechanisms to disseminate it in social media, for example. Also analytics, it is another thing that are going to implement in the third development cycle. Get analytics on the views.
I'm interested more in Brexit, like the Bitcoin portfolio.
We haven't thought about Bitcoin, but we can look at this.
The market is support.
Talk a lot about it, but overall, this is an educational environment. So there are many, let's say, disagreements about it. However, this is an interesting.
Of course, it was something.
And if we can give to the artist or even the student some service, NFTs.
It's something like the game industry. There are a lot of 3D artists.
Actually, Christos, in-home functionality, they can be used for monetization. And this is the most service which is close to the market, because the student decides to permit to the platform some of his or her artworks to be distributed with this functionality. So I think that easily we can have a financial service, giving him or her some income. When somebody decides to use this functionality.
The game's platform could be a broker.
Yeah, something like that. This was the first idea behind the in-home functionality, to have some monetization. However, this is a conversation in progress.
Yes.
Discussion in progress.
We also have some kind of tax that follows the academic scholars, that means that you have the artifacts, you have the tax, but correlated with the whole artistic view of this student. So you have, let's say, a database that the 30% of this exhibition is mostly focused on Salvador Dali. So they are somehow under the auspices of other well-known artists. Maybe the tax could be interesting.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we can proceed to our next presentation that concerns project result 3. I think Panagiotis Dafiotis will give us this presentation.
Good afternoon to everyone. If you can enable screen sharing for me, please.
I have already enabled
The word. Thank you very much. Okay, it's going to be a presentation with less visuals and more text, I'm afraid. My name is Panagiotis Dafiotis. I'm a visual artist and teaching art education at the School of Fine Arts at Aristotle University, Thessaloniki. And I have been working in cooperation with other colleagues on the project Result 3, which is about system verification and user acceptance of the CRIMS framework. In a nutshell, project Result 3 has to do with evaluation of the project as it progresses. So a very quick overview of the project Result 3 related presentation that has already started, actually, is the role of PR3. Secondly, the methods that were employed in the process of evaluation. And we are going to have a brief overview of the results and findings. Now, the role of the PR3 is to plan and design the evaluation methodology. This is actually the first task of this project Result, and it has to do with defining quantitative and qualitative metrics for user acceptability. Moreover, we try to set the specifications of the CRIMS platform framework assessment, adapting existing methodologies. What briefly this means is that we try to figure out, bearing in mind the specificity of CRIMS platform, which metrics, which criteria, if you like, are most suitable, what methods we should use, and basically how to find best practices that can be reshaped so that they will fit the evaluation purposes. Actually, the evaluation process is quite key because it is not something that has to do with how well did we do with designing the final product. Actually, it is something that shapes the CRIMS platform as it progresses. We are receiving feedback, we are incorporating this feedback, and accordingly we change in almost real time some specific features of the tools that we are developing. So to deliver user evaluation studies, we assess the actual technological tools, the approaches, actually the ideas behind these tools, the philosophy behind the tools, and the methods as they develop. That's the idea of formative evaluation, which has two phases. We have concluded the first evaluation phase several months ago. Now we are more or less well within the second formative evaluation phase. And at the very end, we are going to have the summative evaluation that tries to capture the pros and cons of the final product, as we will have some breathing space to make some late adaptations. Now, all the findings that accrue from the evaluation process do inform the CRIMS tools and platforms. Now, a little bit of a visualization here. The main phases of the assessment procedure. First phase, we plan and design the methods we are going to employ. Second phase, we go through the formative evaluation studies, which actually there are two of these stages. The one almost a year ago, the second is taking place as we speak. And at the very end, we're going to have the final evaluation. In a nutshell, the workflow of the evaluation process is we start with literature review. We're trying to locate best practices, do some desk research on things that have been employed in similar cases. We adapt these methods, and mainly we work with focus groups, that is to say, groups of about 7 to 10 people that we do some semi-structured interviews with them. Then we move on with specially designed questionnaires adapted, as I said, from existing methods. We gather data, we process and analyze them. We draw some conclusions from the results, and these conclusions inform other project results. Actually, we share the results with partners, and we try to ensure that they are adopted to the extent that evaluation shows us that we should move to this or the other direction. And there is a cyclical process. This is replicated in the second phase, and then at the very final phase. Just a brief overview of some challenges regarding the complexity of it, because we have, as mentioned, 4 different categories of, if you like, participants in this evaluation studies. First and foremost, art students, who are going to be the main users. We have to keep in mind that this is an educational tool for tertiary education. So art students should be able to use these platforms, the VR platform, the MR applications, so that they can inform their own artistic practice, improve their ways of curating their own art research and presentation of their art, and in a nutshell, engage in a more, if you like, meaningful way with their own artistic process. So art students are envisaged to be in the region of 80 when they assess the VR platform, and smaller numbers with respect to other key applications. Respectively, art lecturers form the second category of participants, visitors, and last but not least, ICT or digital humanities specialists, people who have some background in both new technologies and humanities, mainly people who ideally would have the ability to combine the two. Now, this sounds a little bit technical, but I think it might give you a good feel of the challenges and, if you like, the ways we approach the specificity of evaluating, assessing something like this, because it's not, if you like, commercial product. It's not just another application. It is envisaged as something that would add value to the studies of art students in schools of fine arts. Now, there is a quite generic questionnaire, 10 questions. It's quite well-known system usability scale. We do use this as part of the methodological mix. So we are using more or less a quite eclectic approach. We are combining 2 or 3 approaches, so to make the best of both worlds, as I say. We adapt questionnaires that specifically relate to extended reality experiences, which focus, for example, on the sense of presence, cognitive presence, things that happen within virtual or mixed reality environments. We will additionally introduce in the second formative evaluation phase user experience questionnaires. I'm going to give more information about this in a bit. And we add some questions that specifically relate to CRIMS, drawing inspiration from the area of museology. We take on board the generic learning outcomes, that's the last line in this slide, so that we create some specific questions in relation to these generic learning outcomes. We are taking on board Nielsen heuristics that have to do with usability and subjective satisfaction. And just to give a little bit more depth in this, in case some of you are interested in the intricacies of evaluating extended reality environments, the sense of presence is something that is specifically addressed by the aptly called presence questionnaire by Whitmer and Singer. And there is another questionnaire by Uso et alia. Some referencing can be found in our project result 3 reports that are going to be available. Just a quick snapshot of how a Likert scale questionnaire looks like. We are using online questionnaires. I'm not going to go through all this, but just to give you an example of trying to capture the usability in various aspects, that is to say the ease of use of the specific VR application. Modified questionnaires are devised for the rest of the applications, and this is just a quick snapshot of how system usability scale looks like. These are 10, as I said, generic questions that can apply to virtually all digital applications and similar products. I know it's quite generic, but nevertheless, we would like to have this aspect up as well. And just a glimpse of some targeted questions, such as did the creation of the exhibition encourage self-reflection on your creative process, and some tailored questions that we try to look into how art students in specific in this example engage with the VR platform. Another quick snapshot. I know this is quite technical, but I just want to reiterate that I'm sharing these details with you in case you want to have a more in-depth sense of what kind of questionnaires we are putting into our methodological mix. That's the so-called user presence questionnaire. It looks like it is actually a Likert scale. That means you go from between a negative and a positive end, and you click the specific number that you believe corresponds to what you feel about the application you have just used. What makes this an interesting conceptually and, if you like, practically methodological tool is that it sort of focuses both on what we can call pragmatic qualities, dependability, efficiency, and so forth, the ease of learning the application, and the so-called hedonic qualities that have to do more with qualitative aspects, how innovative it feels, how stimulating the experience is, and the overall attractiveness is perceived as a mixture of these two aspects. So another interesting thing is that beyond the obvious fact that methodology that focuses on qualitative aspects in an art-related extended reality environment is quite appropriate. Good thing about UEQ is it has some benchmarks. That means it provides some automatic transformation of the questionnaire results into a glimpse of whether you are in the positive side of things or into the negative side of things. And these benchmarks are not, if you like, random. These are the result of hundreds of questionnaires in different, if you like, areas of research within application efficacy. So we have adapted this thing further. We have played a little bit with the benchmarks. Now, going back to see the whole picture once again, the main points of interest here are during the formative evaluations is the technological approach, how much integrity there is in the system and consistency, the oppositeness for exhibiting artistic material. So we have the art specialist perspective, how good it is to, if you like, be used to create art exhibitions as such. And then we look at the educational aspect of it. So how potent the system is to support meaningful engagement with art. And this in turn, that's quite a key point, relates to learning on behalf of the art students in relation to curatorial issues, how this tool could boost, could foster, if you like, the ability of art students to curate their own work with the use of digital material. And I was listening to your discussion about the in-depth description with layers that would not only help people create a curatorial approach in terms of how they arrange their artworks within a given space that they create, but moreover, it gives the possibility for them to add more resources in layers interactively. I've heard this very interesting comment that if contextual visuals are too intrusive, they might water down the experience of the actual artwork. And that's quite a thing to be careful about, because the last thing we do is to provide so much visuals that they will tamper with the ability of viewers to actually connect with the real artwork. So there has to be the ability of interactively clicking on something so they appear and then they disappear accordingly. Now, the main conclusions now, I'm going to give you a brief outline of the findings, the conclusions, the results of PR3, if you like, insofar. So especially from the first formative evaluation phase several months ago, it looks like we should be looking into enhancing the following three domains. Realism, we are doing reasonably well on this front, how we could make the environment more real life-like. The second domain is ability to contextualize, that is to say, to add material, texts, if you like, further visuals, videos that are linked to the initial artwork. And last but not least, there was a major wish from those who participated in the evaluation for additional guidance. That means to say targeted error message, signposting, a more, if you like, user-friendly environment. A little bit more analytical here. So there was a wish for improvement of visual appeal, realism, and ability to manipulate the virtual spaces. as well as in relation to functionalities such as login, that's practicality. I understand. Now, as I mentioned, error messages, problem resolution suggested, some help texts and so forth was something that we improved, and we still work on that on the basis of the feedback we received. And as I mentioned, I'm not going to replicate myself here. There is quite some emphasis on the ability to add context to each and every artwork if the person who creates the exhibition wishes. So some other aspects is the social aspect, because as mentioned earlier about Dr. Sileo, there was in relation to the criteria, some focus on what has been described as community, that is to say, the social aspect in terms of other visitors, between visitors and the artist, or between the artist and the lecturers. So there was quite an interest in being able to share exhibitions over social media, real-time or asynchronous communication amongst the visitors or between them and the artist within a safe environment. And quite key communication real-time, if possible, between art students and tutors. There was some wish to be able to communicate in multimodal ways. That's quite tricky, except for chatting or having some text boxes to communicate. Art lecturers could ideally be able to put some arrows within, or other, if you like, visual markers within the exhibition prototype saved by the art student, but I will not stay very much on this. In terms of usability, there has been some idea of having multiple versions of the same exhibition, obviously with some differences, so the art teacher could possibly pick the best of them and highlight it as the optimal possibility. And once again, strong wish to be able to manipulate space. We have created a modular floor plan creator functionality that Mr. Berg has shown to you. Just in a nutshell, I have to say that the feedback we received from new media art specialists, actually practicing artists, they were quite positive with acceptance of system, and they would give more importance to the ability of such an experience for art students to help them curate, contextualize, and present their artwork. Not surprisingly, input from specialists in the film of virtual environments and ICT after cognitive walkthrough session was a little bit on the critical side. They would focus more on usability, ease of use, and the support an average user would need to handle the system. And therefore, given this feedback we received, there was an additional reason to prioritize improvements in on the usability front. Just a snapshot of some of the results, given that that was the low fidelity tool, that's actually a visitor's response outline. The feedback was pretty much somewhere in the middle ground. This is just visualization of an exhibition space that was created. Once again, I remind you that was the low fidelity tool. We didn't have much in terms of lighting possibilities, the ability to have lighting sources and so forth. And that's what went through the early phase of evaluation. And closing this presentation, I would like to say that the main challenge is not to create just another tool that allows people to show their work through virtual art galleries. I think the most important challenge is to exploit the medium's expressive capacity. That's something that came up through the bibliography research. What I try to say here is that having to deal with creative people, it would be probably a mistake not to invest in the possibilities of giving the tools and enough space to artists so that they can actually create art exhibitions in a creative way, exploit the expressive potential of the digital tool that is called virtual environment. So this is quite an intricate thing here, but we see this project, and that came up through especially focus group discussions, that the ability to provide an intricate, sophisticated, if you like, application or VR platform, so that artists can play with it in ways that the end result is not only showing creative things, but it shows them in a creative way, is something that was highly desirable. So likewise, we see that this ability to exploit the medium's expressive capacity, medium here is the virtual spaces themselves, and virtual reality or extended reality itself, if you like, as an indispensable aspect of an arts-related interface creation that promotes learning within an art school. And I would like to thank you for your attention here. I know less visuals, probably less attention grabbing, but I hope it adds to the overall picture of the challenges and the potential of this unique research project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Panagiotis. We have 5 more minutes. Is there any question for Dr. Panagiotis?
I'm afraid. Is there a question there? I'm afraid I'm not listening.
I would like to ask, since it's a tool for art teachers, would you suggest that it would only be used for fine art school students, or it could be also used for high school students?
Yes, that's an interesting, quite key question. As I come from a professional background that enabled me to work in high schools, the main, if you like, structural logic is designed around the needs of tertiary education, that is to say, schools of fine arts in a university or university-like environments. Nevertheless, given that this is it's going to be an open source tool, a high school employment of it is not in any way out of the question, as is the case with use of this tool by, let's say, freestanding artists. Nevertheless, as showed, the architecture, the structural logic of the VR platform, for example, is that the lecturer, the art teacher, enables art students to create exhibitions, and then there is a curatorial process, an internal communication amongst the two, so that the final exhibition is being, green lighted. It is being accepted, and everything is okay. This, in theory, could also work in a high school. That is to say, people who are almost near the age of an adult. But as I said, we have not taken into consideration the needs and priorities and characteristics of smaller age group. So just to give a very brief answer, it could be used, but it is designed around the specificity of schools of fine art. Thank you.
Thank you, Panagiotis. Well, we can now proceed to our coffee break, and then we can have the last two presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moreover, we want to demonstrate the user privileges through someone has to face through the application or software and the functionalities that the application offers. And in general, an in-depth exploration of each of the features an application offers to students and instructors. Each course and user manual are being developed from English to 4 other languages. As you can see here, the course material was developed in Greek and German and Hebrew and 2 other languages. The same was applied for the user manuals, respectively. We have also developed video tutorials with other participating partners from the project for each application platform. For CRIM's platform, for AR application, and for the digitizer as of the user manuals creation too. On the right, you can see the 3 main video tutorials. We are also going to see them in detail tomorrow. So the video tutorials offer to the instructors and students a visual guide complementing the written content from the user manual, and they can offer an efficient and hands-on training tool for the application. Moving to task 402, our objective is to optimize VR exhibitions and train our students to adopt and adapt them as creative and communicative tools. We are developing a methodological framework and creating guidelines, publications, and a knowledge repository for a wider dissemination of the best practices in the training material. The outcome until today for the task 4.2 is the development of a comprehensive guide of best practices for planning and executing successful virtual exhibitions. This can be used from instructors and students also to get to know the important aspects of creating virtual exhibitions and how it's the best way to create one. We are going to see this also in depth tomorrow. On the right, you can see the documents from the best practices guide that was developed. And in task 4.3, we are focusing on providing material for ICT specialists rather than students and instructors that we saw before in the other tasks. And this involves instructions and tools to install, integrate, and streamline the platform's technology for a functional integrity. And this is for the next stages to be implemented. We don't have developed something for this task yet. So in conclusion, the project result 4 has made significant strides in the development of course materials and best practice guides with manuals and video tutorials. Our efforts have been dedicated to empower students, instructors, and specialists with the tools from the CRIMS and the knowledge needed to excel in the world of virtual exhibition. So the next expected outcomes through project result 4 is to create the more PowerPoint presentations about the training material based on the course material also. And additionally, we aim to develop the material for ICT specialists and software engineers, the integration guide. And there we can see through the integration guide how to access the application also, how to install and use the produced software. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Kyriaki. Is there any question for Kyriaki? Okay, then we can proceed to our next presentation about project result 5. Is there anybody from Senkar's team with us?
Yes, Dimitri, it's me, Rebecca.
Okay.
I'm here, I
Hello, Rebecca.
connected. Hi, everyone. I
Yes,
can't
Rebecca, yeah.
share.
Okay, now you have the permissions to share your document.
Okay. So, hello, everybody from Israel. We are in a challenging time period at this time. As you probably have seen on the news, there was a horrible attack on October 7th. Many people were murdered here, brutally murdered, and that triggered a war that has been going on for the last month and a half. So unfortunately, not me and not our learners have been able to come and participate in this activity. Our universities are still closed because many of our students are in the reserves and they are fighting this war right now. We had 2 of our Shenkar students fall this last month and a half. They got killed within Gaza. And it's a very difficult time for students and for all the people here in Israel. And with that, I would like to take you to the work that we've done so far within CRIMS. I'm presenting the project results number 5, which is focusing on the webinars for the training, for training the trainers on virtual exhibitions for art students. Our task is divided in 3 main aims. The one is to host training webinars on conceptual aspects of VR. The second part is within these webinars to have hands-on practices on creating VR exhibitions within the CRIMS platforms, and also the internationalization of the webinars. You see on the bottom our timeline, and we have already done 2 of these webinars, the introduction webinars on the proof of concept number 1 of the CRIMS platform. We have 2 more scheduled in April and May of 2024. And then our final webinars are scheduled in November and December 2024, We will probably have one more for software engineers, which will be more technical for people to be able to make changes in the platform after we finish, and people that want to take on this research. And also one in December at the end of our project, which will be both for lecturers and students. Hopefully we'll have the final version of our platform, and we will be able to do our final teaching and disseminate further. So the two webinars that were hosted, there was a separate webinar for the art students and a separate webinar for the lecturers and faculty and instructors. They were led by our school. The teaching team was actually also from our school. It was myself, Galit Gaon, who is a curator and teaching. She's head of the School of Curatorial Studies in Shenkar, and Shoval Nir, which is a lecturer in the Department of Building Interior and Environment Design, like myself. We have created a Moodle on Shenkar's Moodle, especially for the CREAMS project. You have the link to the Moodle right here. I can put it actually at the end of my lecture, also on the chat, so you can have access to all the material. And I'm going to actually go in. Wait, I think you don't see. I have to reshare. This is our Moodle, and here you can see the material that's in the Moodle. The Moodle is a platform for all our courses, so this exists there as a course, but it's an open course. Everybody with a link can go and access the material. So what we have here is, first of all, access to the CREAPS website. Then we have, you can enter the proof of concept 1 from here. Today already we are entering from this link. We are on the proof of concept 2. And then we have all the material that our partners at CAT generated that were just presented a few minutes ago. So we have the course description, and this has been a team effort here to translate all the material in all the partners' languages. Each partner translated in their own languages. So today we have it in English, in Greek, in Hebrew, in Norwegian, and in German. When we will have the additional webinars, the online session links will appear here, the sessions to the Zoom. And then we have the evaluation questionnaire that Aristotelio is creating, so that students or lecturers can go and evaluate after they use the platform. Then we have the user manuals. Again, the user manuals, they exist in all 5 languages. We have a manual for the digitizer, a separate manual, which is in English right now. And then we have the video tutorials that I understand that Kat will show you more about them tomorrow. But as you enter, you have access to little clips, tutorial clips that are very user-friendly and easy and show you how to use the platforms. We were here, so we have separate ones for the students, for the CREAMS platform, separate tutorials for the instructors. We have for the mobile app and for the digitizer. And then we have the web recordings. Here are the web recordings, which you can see the 2 webinars that took place in April and May of the past academic year. all this material has been already transcribed. All the webinars have been transcribed and submitted in the last CREAMS report. And this is the participation that we have. Here you can see the distribution according to institutions. Maybe because we hosted it, we had a lot of Shankar participation, but we certainly had from all the other partners participation. And here you can see the distribution when it comes to students or instructors or research fellows. We had several other kinds of definitions here. So you can see the distributions. Of course, we had a bigger amount of students, and then the lecture webinar was a little bit smaller, but this was expected. So at the end of the day, we had 78 participants in the student webinar, and we had 43 participants in the faculty lecture and instructor webinar. All users were asked to join and register, and to use also the evaluation stages on the platform, the evaluation questionnaires. Now, beyond our project result, which was more focused on the webinars, we have participated in project results of other teams. For example, we have developed, we've been very active in developing the curatorial process. We think that the extra value, the special value of CREAMS is not only to do a virtual reality art exhibition, but actually to teach the curatorial process through building these and setting up these art exhibitions. And the curatorial process has several stages. We broke it down to stages. When we collect the work, we think about the work, we categorize it in groups, we put the curatorial text, we have options to make several different groups and categorizations and then choose from them to create a thought process that helps us decide on how the art pieces go into the three-dimensional space. And this is developed by Cognitive X. They have taken these curatorial steps and embedded them inside CREAMS, which allows you to categorize and to create groups, then take each group and create a curatorial text that describes the group and attach different art pieces to the specific group. And then at the same time, this creates a dialogue with the lecturer who sees the different groups of artwork and the different curatorial texts and can give feedback to the students. Here are some suggestions, for example, for group context, like they can be divided into content, into color or material, size and format, or each lecturer can have some other ideas, or each student. And then once the works are divided into the groups, they have the curatorial text, the lecturer can give the feedback, and this goes back to the student to go and improve and change the work, until we get into the final phase of writing, giving the exhibition a title and having a final curatorial text. A part of that, we've been contributing also with teaching in the platform. Last year, Galit Gaon has integrated the CREAMS platform in 2 of her courses in the curatorial studies. And this year, I started a special project with a few students that we're also using the CREAMS platform. We're actually creating a virtual design portfolio which is in 3-dimensional space. So the students are using these galleries to create their work portfolio within this course. There are 3 more courses scheduled in the curatorial studies by Galit Gaon, and CREAMS will be integrated there too, but for now, unfortunately, our universities are closed, and for now, we think we are going to open up at the end of December. In addition, we have been participating into academic writing through CREAMS. This is a paper that I initiated, and it came out not long ago, like last month, if I'm not mistaken. The paper is called Comparison of Extended Reality Platforms and Tools for Viewing and Exhibiting Art. Is a comprehensive studies on 19 different online platforms and tools that deal with art exhibition. And it comes to help us in CREAMS to understand what's out there. What are the different platforms? What are the pros and cons? And how does CREAMS relate to all the other platforms that are out there? So you have access. I've put here the link. I think Dimitris, I will give you I will send you my my presentation afterwards, and you can post it for the participants. And also, I have participated in one of the papers that Stella Sileu has initiated. From the University of Patras, which also got published within the last month. This paper also deals with the topic of virtual art exhibitions and issues that concern the metaverse.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Rebecca. We'd like to express our solidarity to the Israeli people for their suffering these days. We wish this war to come to an end soon. Is there any question for Rebecca? Okay, then I think that we have fulfilled all our obligations for the first day of our agenda. Summarizing, I can say that we saw many things about the project as a whole. The basic outcomes of each project result have been presented. We had, in some point, interesting conversation, mainly in PR2 and PR3. I'm feeling that we have started here a fruitful discussion. And maybe it's a good basis in order to proceed to the next day. Tomorrow, hopefully. Is there any question or any point you want to discuss at the end of the first day? Okay, then I wish you good evening and see you all tomorrow, the second day of our event. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.